name is Janet Hawless, and I'm a visible woman.
I'm Gilda Jaffe, and I am a visible woman.
Hi, I'm Johanna Riquier, and I'm a visible woman.
I'm Sharon Anaja, and I am a visible woman.
Hi, I'm Petra Annabelle, and I'm a visible woman.
Hi, I'm Lullaby Jude, and I am a visible woman. I'm Liz Hobbs, and I am a visible woman.
I'm Francie Jean Lewis, and I'm a visible woman.
I am Stella Lieben, and I am a visible woman.
I'm Mildred Talabi, and I am the founder of Visible Women Tribe. I would love for you to be a part of our community of businesswomen and female leaders who are committed to building a brand where they are seen, heard, and remembered for all the right reasons. Come and join us today. Embrace the sisterhood. Visit www.visiblewomentribe.com to register. Good evening, and welcome to Visible Woman on LinkedIn. With me, Mildred Talabi, your host, and yes, the founder of Visible Women Tribe. And yes, that was me in that video and all the lovely tribe ladies. If you are not a part of Visible Women Tribe, go check us out on the website. But listen, I am so glad that you're here tonight, because tonight is the final episode of Visible Women on LinkedIn. Not forever, just for season 4. So this is the final episode of Visible Women on LinkedIn. And if you are tuning in for the first time, where have you been? Where have you been for the last 5 weeks? But seriously, if you are here for the first time, this show is all about having inspiring, candid, honest conversations with women who are busy building their brands on LinkedIn and beyond, who are being visible, women who are being visible. And listen, why is it important to be visible? Because this is how you are seen, heard, and remembered for all the right reasons. That's what I use. When I say visible, that's what we're talking about. Being seen, heard, and remembered for all the right reasons by the people that you want to be seen, heard, and remembered by. Being visible is a great way to build your personal brand. It's a great way to grow your business. It's a great way to make an impact and leave a legacy. So it has so many advantages. The best opportunities truly come to those who are visible. So this show, Visible Women on LinkedIn, is all about showcasing and highlighting some of the awesome women that I know through LinkedIn, who are doing amazing things in their business and being visible about it. Tonight is no exception. I have a great guest tonight, which I'm going to get to in just a second. But listen, if you are tuning in, I want you to drop a hello in the comments. Drop a hello. Don't be leaving me here like it's just me. I want a hello. Tell me who you are, actually, don't tell me who you are. I can read your name. I can read. I went to school. I can read your name. So don't tell me who you are unless you appear as some mysterious LinkedIn user, which happens sometimes, right? But just tell me where in the world you are tuning in from. Get involved. This is a show where you get involved. I want you to get involved in the comments. And as I bring my guest on for tonight, if you've got questions for her, drop it in the comments too. If as you're getting takeaways and you're getting light bulb moments and you're being inspired, drop that in the comments too. I want you involved because this is our show, right? It's all about being visible, So with that said, let us see who is in the house, because we are broadcasting live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Look at that. I'm all over the place. We're visible, right? We take this thing seriously. So Gula is in the house. Gula, it is so awesome to have you. Gula is a tribe member. She's in the house, as is Asha. Asha is in the house. Hi, Asha. Hi, Stella. Guten Tag, Stella, should I say. That is my German. I hope that is decent. I hope that my pronunciation is good, but good to see you. Francie is in the house. Awesome. Gilda is in the house live. Woo! I love it. Nafisa is in the house representing South London. Monwara is in the house. Oh my God. All the ladies are here tonight. I love you ladies. You guys are so awesome. We have got a great show for you tonight. A great interview. Agneta is also in the house. Agneta, hi. If you're a first-time user, welcome. Not user, first-time viewer. Welcome. Bethan from Cardiff. Hey, Bethan, good to see you again. Ladies, we are going to get into the show. And then because this is the last episode of season 4, at the end, I want you to give me an extra 5 minutes. Hang around for 5 minutes because I want to tell you about something that's really special that's about to happen. So I'm not just going to leave you hanging after the show. Don't worry. I've got something for you and I need you to hang around after we're done for about 5 minutes and I'll get to it. But for now, I want to welcome my guest for today. So my guest for today's show is an awesome woman who is a relationship and a business coach. Her name, her brand is the Confident Heart Coach. And we're going to talk about what that means shortly. But her name is Tomika Snodgrass. I hope I pronounced that right, Tomika. Tomika Snodgrass. Tomika has quite a story to tell about her life, about her business, about the relationships in her life, and we're going to get to all of that tonight. So please drum roll your keyboards. I know I cannot hear it from here, but I want you to do it anyway as I welcome to the virtual stage, Tomika. Hi, Tomika.
Hey, Mildred. I'm so glad to be here. How are you?
I am good. I am pumped,
I'm pumped too. I'm pumped with you.
All right, let's pump it. I saw you posted something the other day about giving a stranger a belly laugh, in the supermarket or something. I'm like, I love that because that's the energy that you bring. You have that energy about you. So we're going to get into it. We're going to get into that in this conversation. But
Awesome.
I like to start with this, Tomika. So I've introduced you a certain way, but how do you describe exactly what you do? Tell us what you do.
Well, I am the Confident Heart Coach because I'm all about building confidence in women and empowering and inspiring and motivating other women to have it all. I like to say that every woman is phenomenal and I want to help her to have her cake and eat it too. Why would you have cake if you can't eat it, right?
And we like cake.
We like cake. So I love to help women to just spark joy and happiness in every aspect of their lives at home and at work. I don't feel like you should have to sacrifice a thing. You should be able to have it all. And that's what I'm all about.
I love that. that. And we're gonna get into this whole idea of having it all, shortly in this conversation. But let's go back to the beginning. I like to go back to the beginning, rewind.
Yeah.
So, Tomika, we want to get to know little Tomika. So when you were growing up, what did you want to be and what were you like as a child?
Oh my gosh, I wish my father were on here for him to describe me as a child. I was always very independent and I never had this dream to walk down the aisle in the white dress, the fairy tale wedding or anything like that. I never did. I was very focused on school. I loved school. I've been an avid reader for as long as I can remember. And the one thing I wanted always was to go to college and to have a career. I knew that from a very, very early age that is what I wanted to do. So that was something that I always was so driven to do well in school because I wanted to go to college and I wanted to have a career and I wanted to be an independent, financially free woman. That's what I wanted.
Okay. Please tell me you were not thinking these thoughts at 5 years old.
I knew at 5 years old, I knew I wanted to be married, but I didn't want a wedding. I said that always. I don't care about that. When other girls would talk about their wedding dress or, their fairy tale, that was not my fairy tale. That was not my fairy tale. My Barbie dolls were career women.
I love it. Where did this come from? Where this whole career thing? What did your mom do and your dad? What was their occupation?
My parents worked. I come from a very large family. Both my parents come from large families, lots of siblings. So I grew up with lots and lots of cousins and lots of people around. But I'll tell you where it came from. In my home, my dad was the decision maker. He was the decision maker. He was the breadwinner. And I associated the fact that he was the breadwinner and that he made all the decisions with, oh, okay, the person who makes money has the power and the ability to make decisions, So I'm a little girl looking at that going, I don't want that. I want to be able to call some of the shots too. So I always felt like I want to be equal. I want to be married to someone who sees me as an equal partner and who respects my individuality and my desire to be my own woman. That's where it came from.
That's really interesting because as a, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 year, however old you were seeing that, why didn't you think that your dad had the power because he was a man? I mean, what made you think that it was because he earned money?
Well, let me say it this way. First of all, my dad was an awesome person, an awesome dad. I'm a daddy's little girl. He was a great provider, so good to my mom, just a very generous, kind person. But I didn't just see it, I heard it. Like my dad would say, well, I pay the bills, So he would have the final say, and that was okay with my mom. So that worked out. She loved to lean on him to make all the decisions. That worked well in their marriage. And it was beautiful. They were married for 54 years, But that's not what I wanted. And my dad and I had a joke when I got older. He would always say, oh man, I'm glad I didn't have a woman like you as a wife. I was too opinionated and too bossy for him.
Oh wow. What number were you out of the many siblings?
No. My dad and my mom both came from big families and they had lots and lots of brothers and sisters. So I have lots of uncles, lots of aunts, and lots of cousins. In my family, it's just me and my brother, and I'm the baby.
Oh, okay. All right. So
I'm the loud baby.
Okay, you're the loud baby and opinionated. So
yes, okay. Opinionated, yes.
I love it. So you're watching your mom and dad from young. You're watching your dad go to work, bring home the bacon, so to speak, and call the shots. And you're thinking, yeah, that's what I want to do when I grow up. Is that right?
Not necessarily call the shots, but definitely have a voice. That was always important to me. I want to have a part in the decisions. I don't want to be bossed around and told what to do. That was my whole thing as growing up. That's the way I saw it. And my mother worked too, but my father was definitely the breadwinner and saw himself as more of the decision maker. He was the head of the house, as he should be. But as a kid watching that, I was like, I don't like this too much. That's not what I want.
How did that play out when you started dating?
You know what? I think I attracted, well, first of all, it's very intimidating for men. I'll say that. So a lot of guys, it was like, oh, I don't know if I want to ask her out, so it was very intimidating. But as I started dating, I think I attracted the kind of guys who understood me and understood where I was coming from. I'm not the type of person to be bullied or pushed around. I'm a very vocal person. I'm very opinionated. I will say with my husband, he was more like my dad, but over time we worked it out.
Okay, because I do want to talk about your husband and the relationship aspect. Okay, but yeah. So still with this, so you're dating. Were you the kind of person on dates you would insist to pay your own bills?
No, but I would offer if necessary. So sometimes we would go Dutch. I have no problem with men being the man. So that's not the case. I don't mind you holding the door open for me and paying the bill and all of that. But I also can get the door myself and I can pay the bill too if I need to. And if I don't like what you're talking about, I can get in the car and leave.
Okay. Independence is important to you.
That was always me, definitely.
Okay, awesome. So how did that then play out so talk us through your career path. So you have this idea. So what did you want to be specifically growing up? Was there a career in mind that you thought would give you this independence, or did you kind of discover it as you went along?
I ended up discovering it as I went along, but as a child, I always wanted to be an educator. I always wanted to be a teacher. It didn't turn out that way for me because what happened was my parents really didn't save enough for my brother and I to go to college. And so once I graduated from high school, there was not enough money for me to go to college. And so I ended up needing to get a job. And what was important for me, I knew that there were companies that would pay at least a portion of your education if you worked there. And so that was my goal, was to find a job where my education could be paid for. That was always very important to me. And so initially, I wanted to be a teacher, but I ended up taking a job when I was right out of high school as a flight attendant. So I was going to go off and I was going to be a flight attendant. It wasn't Delta at the time. I can't remember the name of it, in Northwestern Airlines or something like that. And so I told my dad, I have a new job. I'm going to be a flight attendant. And he had to buy me my uniform and my suitcase and my ironing board and all this stuff. And then I got a job at a bank, like 2 days before I was supposed to head out as a flight attendant. And so I took that job because I didn't really want to be a flight attendant. I just needed a job, a job that would pay for my education. And by the way, I've worked since I was 14 years old. So I'd always had little jobs, but I wanted a job that was going to have good benefits. I took a job in banking. My dad was so mad at me. He's like, I spent all this money. You said you were going to be a flight attendant. He said, what are we going to do with this suitcase? I said, well, I'll use it when I travel. Oh my God. So anyway, I ended up in banking, and that was right out of high school. And I have had a career in banking ever since that time. So I started on the retail side of banking, and I worked in the branches and worked my way up from there. And then I ended up going over to the corporate side of banking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So banking, obviously, because of the name, because of the industry, is all about the big bills. So it's all about the money. Is that what drew you to banking, even though maybe it was subconscious because you had this flight attendance and then it's like, oh, banking, let me go there instead? Is that what was driving you on the inside?
I don't think it was that on the inside. At least if it was, I wasn't aware of it at that time. I think what I was drawn to was the benefits, and I knew that it would be a good career path for me. I saw myself being able to get in at the ground level and being able to get my education while I worked in banking and to climb the ladder and grow from there.
Okay. What was your relationship like with money? Because it sounds like you had a decent upbringing financially, but there wasn't enough. Is that correct?
No, there was enough. My parents both worked, which was very unusual in my neighborhood. In my neighborhood, a lot of women stayed home and, took care of the kids. My mom always worked. And I was a spoiled kid. I was a daddy's little girl. My dad spoiled me rotten. So, I always had a good relationship with money. The other thing that I'll say is my parents, they were very unorthodox for their time because they talked a lot about money in our household, which was something that you just didn't see back then. My parents talked about budgeting, the importance of saving, the importance of having good credit, that if you owe someone, do what you said you're going to do, pay it back when you said, all those kind of things. So we talked about all of that, not living beyond your means and just all of those things. So I had a very healthy relationship with money from a very young age.
Okay, yeah. That's good because in your banking career, you go on to make a lot, and we'll get to that timeline shortly. So you start off in banking. Did you love it straight away?
I did. I loved it. When I started, I was on the retail side of banking. Now I'm dating myself, Mildred. Back then, there was no bulletproof glass or anything. So when I was a bank teller and customers would come in, I'd shake their hand. They paid their bills back then inside the branch. So they would come in and pay their bills. I was just a people person, and I've always been that way. I knew their kids. I knew their dogs. I gave suckers to the kids. I gave dog biscuits to the dogs. I just loved it because I love people and I love building relationships. So that was my jam. I loved it.
Okay.
Yes.
So you got into it. Did you have to study additionally to climb up the ladder? Because you started to climb the ladder, didn't you, with banking?
Yes. And so when I ended up on the corporate side of banking, I went through a credit training program. So I definitely had to study for that. And part of the training was they would rotate you to different departments so that you could learn different areas of the bank. So that's how I kind of figured out where I wanted to be and what I did not want to be doing. So I was on the loan side of things for a bit after after being a bank teller on the retail side. And I enjoyed that. But what I really loved is what I ended up doing before I left the bank, and that was treasury management. So not so much on the loan side, but I helped commercial and large corporate companies to manage their cash more effectively. And that was something that was very interesting to me. And I was very successful because I loved it so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you ended up doing, because I know you had a long career in banking.
Yeah.
But in between, at that point, you talked about liking people and relationship with people, and because you do coaching now, we'll talk about how you got there in a minute. But when did those little seeds start to really drop for you that, you know what, I quite like working with people in this way?
Very early on, I would say immediately on the retail side of banking, I thought, this is where I want to be. I love doing this. Just having that in-person contact with people. I was meeting somebody new all day, every day. I just loved it. I loved talking to people. I love understanding their story. I loved helping them manage their money. I just felt like I was making a difference in their lives, and I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So just a little. Ashley says, "How great to be educated about money by family." Absolutely, that is a privilege not many people have. So that's really good. Okay, so you have this.
Mildred, I'll share with you. My parents retired debt free at 52 years old, both of them. So
awesome.
They had a great relationship with money.
That is so awesome. That is definitely awesome. It's so important to have that background and that backdrop. Okay, so you're there, you're in banking, you climb, and eventually you get to the stage where you're making lots of money in banking.
Well, good money.
Well, 6-figure salary banking, let's call it what it is.
All right. Lots of relative, right?
Yeah. So you're really entrenched in the corporate world. What was that like? Not just work-wise, but and timeline-wise. When did you get married in the midst of your career?
Oh, you're taking me way back now. You're taking me way back. So I've been married for 25 years. So on the timeline, I got married just as I was climbing the corporate ladder, I'll say. So I had already kind of gone through the retail side of banking for a number of years. I had graduated from college, put myself through school. All right. So I earned my bachelor's degree and then I got married. And I'll say that I went back for my MBA after my second child was born. So I had the new baby in my arms while I was studying, working through my MBA. So, yeah.
Okay. So you get married at a time where your career is kind of taking off, and you're climbing the ladder.
Yes.
What was that like for your husband, and what was he equally successful? What was he doing with his work life?
Yeah, he's very successful. My husband is in law enforcement, and he's been in law enforcement for 35 years now. So very successful career in his own right, for sure. It was hard. It was hard because we had our first child right after we were married. In fact, we had our first child before we were married. Actually, I did that backwards, but hey, still with the same man and all of that. But it was very hard. Corporate banking back then was a very male-dominated industry, especially on the corporate side when you started to get into the officer level positions. And so it's a different dynamic when it's predominantly men that are making the decisions and kind of running things in banking, right? And so it was very challenging. You're expected to be there. There's no flexibility like it is today. There's no working from home. There's no calling off sick. I used to send my kids to school with a little fanny pack. If you get a headache, go in the bathroom and take you a Tylenol. Jump back in, come get you. As the office secretary knew, she would say to my daughter's name is Deja. She's my oldest. And she'd say, Deja, are you really sick? Did you throw up? Your mama not coming That's terrible, but it's just the way it was. That's what you had to do back then. And my kids knew they didn't take time off school because, you had to be really sick for me or daddy to be able to leave work to come and pick you up. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Wow.
so it was, it was a difficult time, but I enjoyed it. I had great people that I worked with that became like my family over the years. I learned so much. So it was a great time. It was a difficult time. You just had to understand this is the way it is. You need to show up. You're expected to show up. There's no excuses. Nobody cares. You got kids. That's great. Who's watching the kids? Because you need to be at work. So that's just the way it was. And I'm fortunate. I had a great support system, in my parents and, other aunts and uncles and other people who could help me with the kids.
Oh, that's always helpful. Definitely that's helpful,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Parents, no, there's nobody better. I used to say if mama is watching the kids, it's like you watching them yourself, right?
Exactly. Absolutely. My 5 and 6 year old, so I understand.
Yeah.
Completely understand. Yeah.
They were in good hands.
Yeah, but I guess there was a point though where was there a point where your earning surpassed your husband's?
Yes.
Okay.
And that would have been
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so once I was always very driven, and Mildred, that I'm a very spiritual person, and I don't know, I was climbing the corporate ladder, and it was I had a calling to go back to school. I didn't know the reason why at the time. It was just like, oh my God, really? I got a baby. You think I should go back to school? And so I just needed to do it. I didn't know the reason why at the time, but the reason revealed itself later. Okay, so I went back to school. I had the newborn baby, and the oldest was 9. I earned my master's degree, and I ended up getting recruited to go to a different bank. And it was at the perfect time because at the bank where I was working, I had been passed over for promotion, a few times, and it was, it was becoming a little bit frustrating, a little bit difficult. I had the expertise, I had the knowledge, I had the education, I had the certifications, and yet there were people that didn't have the seniority that I had that were getting promoted and I was not. So I ended up getting my MBA. A recruiter contacted me and recruited me to another bank, making way more money, great big signing bonus and all that fun stuff. So that was the reason, that door needed to close because there was another door opening. So it was awesome. Yeah.
So you take it and you're now making loads more than your husband, and because you've had this vision from young to be financially independent. Did that ever cause any kind of conflict in your marriage?
Yes, it did. It did. My husband is a family guy and he's a good provider. And so he saw that as, him not being a good provider at that time. But, and so, yes, it was difficult. There were a lot of arguments about that. I did travel a lot back then. And so there were issues with that. You're traveling all over the place. And when you're the one who's doing the traveling, it looks like you're on vacation all the time. It looks very glamorous. It doesn't look like you're going to work. I'm going to work, but it looked as if I was leaving my husband and leaving my kids to go, traveling around the country and all of that, which was not the case. But that did cause issues for sure. Eventually we worked, we were able to work through it. We're on the same team. So we came to realize we're on the same team. I'm your cheerleader. You need to be my cheerleader and support me. And we worked it out, but it definitely caused some relationship issues. Communication is key, though. We stuck through it. We talked about it a lot. We fought about it a lot. But he came to understand that, look, this is who I am. And the fact of the matter is I've always been this way. And so I used to tell him all the time, did we just meet? You knew I was like this. Don't expect me to be different now. This is who I am. This is who you're married to, right? Yeah. And so, it worked out. It was fine. And the other thing is, what was very important to me is that it's our money. And that's the language that I used in my marriage. It's not my money. It's not me making more than you. This is what we contribute as a family. This is what we contribute as a couple to our household to raise our children. And because we make X together, here are the things we can do together. So for me, it was just important for him to understand that it's not about who makes the most. We're on the same team. We're together. This is our money so that we can work together to do the best that we can for our family.
Yeah, no, because I know that's important because you've transitioned, and you talk about the transition in a minute because I want to know how you got there. But you talk about women being able to have it all because classically it's kind of, well, if you're going to have a successful career that's high paying, high powered, then you can forget about having a good family life, or vice versa. You can be a nice, good housewife and stay at home, but forget about a 6-figure job. But you're passionate about women being able to have both, and you've been able to create both in your own life. Can you talk to us about this idea of having it all? What is it, and why should we have it all, or strive for it? And is it even possible?
It's absolutely possible. It's absolutely possible. And it's a matter of how you look at it. It's your perspective on things. I never use the word sacrifice. I never felt like I was making a sacrifice. There was a lot of conversation. I included my family, my children in the conversations. This is what mommy has to do. If I had to be out of town, I can't be in 2 places at one time. So did I miss things sometimes? Yes, I did miss, dance recitals and band concerts and things of that sort. However, when I'm not at work and I'm home, I'm fully present. I'm fully present. You have my undivided attention when I'm at home. And one of the things that helped me with my children is I planned a special date with each of them every month individually. So I had a special date with my son. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do whatever you want. You want to go get ice cream. You're going to spend the whole day with mom, and I'm just going to love on you all day, And then I would do the same with my daughter every month. So my whole thing was to be very present when I'm able. I think I shared with you, Mildred, that I used to have to attend this mandatory conference every year, and it was always on my son's birthday. And it was it was about 3 or 4 day conference. So I missed my son's birthday every year, the day of his birth. But that's okay, because what I would say to him is, look, I won't be in town on this day, but we're going to celebrate your birthday because that's so important to me. And I know it's important to you. Which day do you want to celebrate? Let's look at the calendar. We can celebrate the weekend before. We can celebrate the weekend after. We'll plan your party. We'll do it. So he didn't feel like he was missing anything. He still had his birthday celebration, and he still had attention. So you do have to prioritize and shift some things around. But my priorities were always very clear. My family came first for me. Doesn't mean you don't miss out on certain things, right? But I showed up. I showed up where I was able. And when I was able to show up, I was always fully present. And the same is true at work. When I'm at work, I'm fully present. And I'm going to exceed expectations and do the job.
Yeah. And I guess that got rid of the guilt speech marks that a lot of women, mothers, feel, when they want to have a career and they want to be part of the family. So it sounds like you had none of that at all, because you had a plan to just keep both sides of your life, ticking over nicely.
Yeah, the guilt, I didn't feel guilty about it, but the shame and then the judgment was real. I won't lie about that. There are people that would say, you going out of town for 3 days, who gonna cook for your husband? Oh, wait, he gonna cook for himself. Who's gonna watch your kids? Their daddy's going to watch them. I'm not a parent by myself. And what's interesting is we don't ask these questions of men. So it was always interesting that I was just so judged about it, and no one said to my husband, he could go out of town, and nobody said, who gonna feed the kids? Who's gonna drop the kids off at school? Just expected that's what I'm supposed to do. But I feel like I defined the way I wanted my relationships to be for myself. And I didn't worry about what other people said and what they thought. And guess what? Me and my husband been together 34 years. We've been married 25 years. We made it work out.
Something was working all right. Yeah.
Anywhere. We have a no exit strategy.
I love it. That is, yeah, Bethan says inspiring. Yeah, definitely inspiring. Ashley says, excellent point, celebrating family. Absolutely. So, and Francie, he better cook for himself.
Hey, Francie, or he can have a bowl of cereal, whatever. The man will
Exactly,
eat.
right? He
The
will
man
eat. He
will
will
eat that,
eat.
and the kids ate too.
Look at that, you're winning on both counts.
Yes.
Okay, that is awesome. So, all right then. So you're in corporate banking. You end up spending, I think it's more than 20 years, isn't it, altogether in
Over
corporate
25,
banking?
over 25,
Over
yes.
25 years. All right. So and then you transitioned into coaching
Yes.
over the pandemic, thanks to COVID. Tell us about it. How did that come about?
Oh my gosh, because I'm crazy. That's what. But you know what? I have been thinking about it, and I have been a coach for more than 20 years. I just really wanted to start my own business. But every female entrepreneur can relate to this, right? If you're in a career where you're making good money, you are worried about what if I don't earn as much? What if I walk away and I fail? Oh my God, what if? That's the I call her the nag, that nag upstairs. And my nag upstairs, oh, she loud. She just be all in my face and in my ear telling me what I can and cannot do. But during the pandemic, I thought, you know what? This is an opportunity to take a step back. Things slowed way down. I said, I'm going to go for it and do this. And I took that time. I didn't sit still. I took that time to get certified as a coach because, as I said, I had been coaching. I've always been that mentor, that go-to person for young women, that need relationship advice, having issues with communication, having issues with confidence and imposter syndrome. So I've always done that. And I love it. I love to motivate and inspire other women and just be that example. And I have the experience anyway. So I took that as an opportunity to really hone in on my personal and professional development. So I got certified officially as a coach. I also was very interested in True Colors because I'm also very passionate about diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's another passion of mine. And I thought, okay, how can I include that in my coaching practice? So I got certified as a True Colors facilitator as well. So I said, okay, I'll do this and I'm just going to go for it. I had a conversation with my husband who was planning to retire soon. And I said, you know what? I want to start my own business. And I think this is the right time to do it. He was so supportive. And so I just went for it. I stopped talking about it. I stopped thinking about it. I said, I'm just going to do it.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's what I did. And I could not be happier. I love it.
That is awesome. And so now what you do, you're specializing in relationship and business coaching. So it's helping. And I love your tagline that you help women spark joy and happiness in their personal and professional life. That is awesome.
Yeah, they go hand in hand. When things on the home front aren't right, you can't be a high performer at work. And when things at work are falling apart, you're going to have issues at home, right? So they both need to work so that one can support the other. And that's something that I worked hard to figure out. How do I make that work in my life? And so when women come to me and they're having issues on one side or the other, that's a perfect way for me to help them with that, especially with that confidence and that imposter syndrome, because that's something we all go through it, and I want women to know you're not alone. You're not going through this thing by yourself. We all have that nag upstairs, telling us what we're not capable of, but it all starts inside of you. If you believe in yourself, if you're confident in yourself, there's nothing you can't achieve.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So true. So true.
Yeah.
So true. And one of the things as well, because it's different. And let's talk about visibility now, because this is, of course, Visible Woman on LinkedIn,
Yes.
And one of the things about visibility, first of all, I want to know what your definition of visibility is. And then I want to know how for that it differs for you from a corporate setting to now this setting that you're in where it's about you, so corporately you're visible but under a brand that's not yours. Now it's you. So first, what's your definition of visibility, and then talk to us about those two sides of things.
So for me, visibility is just showing up as my unique, authentic self and using my voice, to share who I am and what I do, and to speak directly to my ideal clients and my clients. So for me, that was so important for me to do that on LinkedIn, because that's where my clients are hanging out. And so it's important to me to learn to be visible. I want to know who they are, and I want them to see me and to hear me and to know who I am and what Confident Heart Coach is all about. Now, Mildred, you're making me put my business all out in the streets. I had an identity crisis.
Let's talk about it. Step into my clinic.
So I reached out to you because I was not able to show up. And I've never had this happen in my entire life. This was something new for me because my identity was so tied to my corporate career. I had been in banking for nearly 30 years, right? And so that's who I am. And so when I would post on LinkedIn for all this time, I had been posting about financial issues. Everything was about banking. And it was almost as if the bank was my brand. And I had to realize, no, Tomika, you are your own brand. And so once I realized that, I got a little more comfortable with it. But you had to push me off the edge.
Fly, girl.
Because I was just so in my head about it. Like, who am I? I'm this totally different person. And I've been doing banking and now I'm a coach. How do I explain this? What do I talk about? So that I resonate with people. So I thank you for helping me with that, because that was a big deal for me. It's very important to me. And I'm still a work in progress. I'm still learning, but I'm showing up. I'm getting more engagement and I'm enjoying that, reaching out to my clients. More people are reaching out to me. And so you have to be visible on here in order to attract your ideal clients. And in order to attract and communicate, even with your clients, you want to be able to put yourself out there. So that's what I'm doing. And that's what I plan to continue to do. So thank you for helping me with that. You gave me a facelift and a mini makeover on LinkedIn.
Yes. And if you ever start to slack on it, you will hear from me.
I know. I get your messages in my inbox. What are you doing? Stop that right now. I'm like, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to do that. But I love that. So I thank you for that.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, thank you for sharing that, because I know a lot of women listening to this and especially when you have made that transition and you've been at work for so long, it becomes your identity,
Mm-hmm.
And then to now have to step out and be like, hey, look at me, I am being visible.
Yes.
Tomika is showing up. That it is frightening. It is frightening for a lot of people, a lot of women, a lot of us, So thank you for sharing how that journey has been for you and where you are now.
Absolutely.
So awesome. Okay, so I know there's before, as we coming up to the close, I know you've been through some stuff.
As we all have,
life,
yes.
But we all have our stories, and it's all part of what forms us and our approach that we take in life, because you're specifically about sparking joy and happiness. But I know that you've had a time in your life where you didn't have that joy and happiness because of some of the stuff that happened to you. So can you talk to us about that?
Yeah. So one of the stories that I shared most recently, and this is something that happened to me when I was very young, but I held on to it for many, many years. And I needed to share the story so that I could claim victory over that situation. And so that I was not, so that I wasn't a victim. I needed to be victorious over that situation. And so what happened is that when I was very young, I was about 19 years old. I had a terrible car accident. My cousin, who was my best friend also, she and I were hanging out one evening and we had gone to a comedy club. We left the show and wanted something to eat. So we decided we were going to stop at a Dunkin' Donuts restaurant. It was very, very late. That was one of the only places that was open. We decided we'd stop there and grab something to eat. So we did that. And on the way out to the car, a gunman grabbed me from behind and attacked me, threw me to the ground. My cousin was able to get in the car, but I was not able to get into the car before I was attacked. So I'll never forget that day. It was pouring down raining. It was in the middle of the night. He ripped my clothes off and all of that, put the gun to my head. He robbed me. of my money, my jewelry. And I was just laying there begging him for my life. I just begged him to please not hurt us. Don't kill us. You can have it all. You can have all the money. So, I don't know what happened, but after he took the jewelry and the money, he had the gun to my head, and then he just decided to walk away. Thank God he just decided to turn and walk away. He told me to count to 100. With my face to the ground, I laid there and I counted to 100. Man, it took forever to get to 100. But I got to 100. I jumped up and I ran to the car and I took off. And then I had a terrible car accident. So I slammed into a lamppost and the car was split completely in half. I was ejected from the car through the windshield and knocked unconscious. I was in a coma for 2 days. When I awakened, I was in the hospital and I learned that my cousin was killed in the car accident. So it was devastating to me. And, I was raised that you're to be strong. You're a strong woman. You don't need counseling or therapy. You can get through this. You'll be fine. And I did get through it, but people would ask me if I was okay. Everybody would check on me and I said, I'm okay, but I wasn't okay. I was not okay. I was grieving. I was hurt. And I really questioned my faith at that time. Like, why did something like this happen? Why did my cousin die? Why did I get to live? And I tormented myself with these questions. What if I had not stopped at the restaurant? What if I had turned left instead of turning right? What if I just sat in the car for a minute and not took off the way that I did? I just beat myself up about it. And then after I had that pity party for a long time, I realized I need to change my perspective about this, because bad things do happen to good people. It's not because I'm a bad person that this thing happened. And I didn't understand why it happened. But what I knew is that there's something for me to learn from this. And what I learned from it is that I have incredible strength and resilience, and that I can use that pain to help other people to get through the obstacles and challenges in their life. Because we all go through some things, and it's a matter of how are you going to look at it? So instead of looking at it like, woe is me, this terrible, horrible thing happened to me, God doesn't love me, it was like, no, there's a reason this happened. And this is going to be something that I can help other people with. And that became my purpose, is to be an inspiration to other people that you have more strength than you can imagine, and you can get through it. This, trouble does not last always. Right. And I decided I'm not going to be miserable anymore. I'm not going to have this pity party anymore. I'm going to pick myself up and dust myself off. And I'm going to find my joy and my happiness, because God saved me for a reason. I didn't go through the windshield of a car, to walk around feeling sorry for myself for the rest of my life, And so that was my experience. And at the time, Mildred, I didn't realize that this would lead me to coaching, but it really did. It led me to being a mentor. It just really shaped me into this person who wanted to be there for other people. And I realized that I have this ability to spark joy and happiness in other people, through my heart, through my laughter, through my smile, through my ability to listen, and guide and mentor and help and inspire. So that's what I was called to do. So that pain and that heartache and that grief, I was able to pull that and turn that into my energy and my fuel to go forward and eventually become a coach and be able to help other people.
I love that. That is amazing and inspiring story as well, especially for something like that to happen at such a young age, and for you to have to make sense out of it and then draw this message and lessons from it. So so powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Asha summarizes it. I like that, Asha. What we walk through is what we can help people walk out of.
Oh, that's good.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's good.
Yeah, that is a good one. And that's the thing about, and that's the and I'll come to that in a second, Beth. And that's the thing about visibility, because when you look at somebody on the outside, you can't tell their story. You don't know what's going on. We see Tomika, she's full of joy and happiness, but we don't know the origins of that. So This is why it's really important for me to this show, this whole visibility stuff, that we show up and we share our stories, not just to get clients and build our businesses, etc., which are all great goals, absolutely. But also in so doing, we liberate other women to share their stories, to know that it's not just you, to know that everybody goes through adversity and all of that. So
yes, our stories are just so powerful. And, I started sharing it not too long ago, and I can't tell you how many people reached out to me through a private message, through direct message, to say, Tomika, I didn't know you had been through that. Somebody said to me, you don't look like you have gone through anything like that. So it's interesting what you said, because sometimes our bumps and bruises are on the inside. We don't wear them on the outside. But it was great because that story has power. So not only does it liberate other people, but it also has been incredibly healing for me to be able to talk about it and to be able to share it and to no longer be a victim of that situation. That situation does not have power over me.
Yeah, absolutely. I do that. Chris says you are such an inspiration to me.
Oh, thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Yes, I agree. Bethan says, I so resonate with all of this. Faith, trauma does shape you, and somehow we find our resilience and strength and grief. Absolutely. Yeah.
So true.
Yeah, definitely. So I love that. So what you do now, you help women spark joy and happiness, in their lives. How do you spark joy and happiness in your own life on a day-to-day basis? Do you have a ritual, some tips that what does it for you?
Yes, for me, I focus on the good. I focus on positivity. That is what helps me in my marriage and my relationship with my husband. There was a time you asked me about issues early on. And, whenever we were having issues, I would be like, if only he would do X, if only he would stop doing this, if only he would stop. And what I discover is my happiness is my own. It's my responsibility to make myself happy. So I don't rely on anybody else for my happiness. That's where my joy comes from. It comes from within me. It's in my heart. And so, I have rituals that I do. I just focus on all of the good stuff. I really don't harp on the negative things and what's not working well. And it doesn't mean I don't have negative thoughts. We all do. But when those negative thoughts pop into my mind, I reframe them and I turn that into something positive, because it could always be worse. I'm blessed. I have my health. I have my strength. I have a husband. I have great kids. I can't complain about anything. And so, my ritual is to focus on good things and to do the things that make me feel happy, to show gratitude. I love to give. I love to be a generous person and to give without expectation. That's something that gives me great joy. And I focus on doing the things I love. I love to read. I love to ride my bike. So I make time for the things that make my heart feel good and make my heart feel happy, and, just keeps my cup overflowing, because when my cup is full, I can pour into others. And that's my desire, is to help others. So I need to keep my own cup full so that I can fill up the cup of other people that need that help.
Absolutely. That's so important. Tomika, there's a woman listening right now. I don't know who she is, right? But she's listening right now. And she's lost that joy and happiness in her life, whether that's in her professional life or in her personal life, or maybe even both. I want you to speak to her. How can she start making her journey back into that place of happiness and joy?
Yes. And here's what I share. This is something that I learned when I was going through the difficulty that I went through after the accident. First of all, you are not alone. And I want you to know that you are loved, you are valued, and you are appreciated. That's the first thing. All right. And so you just have to believe that in yourself. But what helped me was what I refer to as 4 positive P's. I didn't know it at the time, but that's my framework. When I'm going through hard times, my 4 positive P's, that's what helps me. Number 1 is prayer. And I say positive prayer because it's not the kind of prayer where you're asking God to, get him, Lord, he's not acting right. This is prayer for yourself to know that God will carry your heavy burdens. And I truly believe that he will. And if you believe it, he'll definitely carry your burdens. There's nothing too heavy for him, and he'll never leave you nor forsake you. So I'm definitely a prayer warrior. Number two, there's such power in what we think. So positive thinking, change your thoughts. Think about those things that are good and positive and that bring you joy and happiness in your life. And then positive self-talk. Change your language and the way in which you talk to and about yourself and others around you. See the good in yourself. See the good in others. It really is so powerful the way you talk to and about yourself. And the last thing is action. If you want to pull yourself up out of that dark place, you got to get up and move your feet and do something about it. You're stronger than you can imagine. And if you'll just believe it and step one foot in front of the other, you will make it through. And if you need help, I'm here for you. Don't hesitate to reach out. I'd be glad to help you.
I love that. I love that. The 4 positive P's.
Mm-hmm. It works. It works.
Yeah, I love it. And it radiates off you. So we know whatever you're doing is working, because we can radiate the joy, the happiness is coming through over the internet waves.
Yes.
So no, that is awesome. We got just a couple of minutes left in this. So it's kind of, we'll ask you to share in a minute how people can get hold of you. But what are your big goals, for the future? What's next for Tomika? What are you planning next?
So I'm planning to just continue to enjoy this life, Mildred, but I am definitely focused on growing my business, Confident Heart Coach. I started it last year, and my goal is to reach as many women as possible. So currently I offer one-on-one coaching, and I offer different workshops to help women to build their confidence, their strength, their resilience, and to spark joy and happiness in their life. I'm also focused on reaching more women through developing different courses. And Mildred, you know that I'm working on a course that I'll be launching later at the end of September to help women, specifically entrepreneurial women in their business, to be bold and to be confident. So those are the things that I'm working on. I just want to empower, motivate, and inspire. And I'll be doing that through continuing to grow and develop myself and my business.
All right. Tell us about that course. You can't just drop it and then not say anything about it, Because somebody's like, listen, what is it? Whatever to me, I want in,
So at the end of September, I'll be launching a new course. And this course is to help entrepreneurial women to ask for the business with confidence. I want every entrepreneurial woman to understand we're all salespeople if we have a business, and we may not like the word sales. You can call it whatever you want to, but the bottom line is the way that you can help more of your clients and reach more of your clients, you have to bring more money into your business. And to bring more money into your business, you have to be able to close more business. That means you have to be able to sell. And so this course is going to help you by helping you to recognize your mindset and to overcome those obstacles and challenges and roadblocks that prohibit you from talking to clients about the sale and making those offers in a way that's consistent and meaningful. So we're going to change your mindset. We're going to show you how to recognize your ideal clients and speak directly to them, and to build your confidence so that by the end of that course, you're going to be able to talk about money and be able to attract money freely and naturally. It's going to flow into your business, and you won't have to chase after clients. They're going to be chasing after you.
All right.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want that in their business?
That's right. Come on.
If you're
interested, private message me because I'll be offering that course at a special pilot rate. So if that's something you struggle with, you don't have to talk about your struggles. Just come into the course.
Yes, absolutely. Private message, go and connect with Tomika, connect with her on LinkedIn, let her know I saw you in the Visible Women show, and I'm interested to find out more. So that is awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So Tomika, we have reached the end of our time here, and it has been absolutely great. I know it's been a great conversation. So thank you for sharing your insights and everything. So what is the best way for people to get hold of you?
Thank you. Well, now, thanks to Mildred, I'm a visible woman here on LinkedIn. So you can say, So please connect with me here on LinkedIn. With a name like Tomika Snodgrass, you can find me so easily. And then also you can connect with me on Facebook. look up Tomika Snodgrass. You can also look up Confident Heart Coach. And I do have a website also, and it is tomikasnodgrass.com or confidentheartcoach.com. Either way, it takes you directly to my website. My website is going through a little bit of a rebrand, so be patient with me on that. Now that Mildred got a hold of me, I'm changing some of my messaging on my website, but it is up and you can locate me there and you can connect with me on my website as well. So I want to connect with all of you. So please get in touch. I'd love it.
That is awesome. Awesome. Yes, ladies, do not hesitate, especially if you need some joy and happiness in your life,
That's right. That's
in your
right.
business and in your personal life. Get a hold of Tomika. So, Tomika, thank you for your time. You have been an awesome guest. I loved hearing your story and everything that you shared with us tonight. So, thank you for being so honest and candid and open and inspiring and motivating us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mildred, for all the work that you're doing to help women to be more visible. And thank you for helping me to be more visible and for having me on today. I just really enjoyed being here.
Awesome. Thank you. We're going to love you and leave you temporarily, but of course we will find you on LinkedIn. So have a good night, evening, afternoon, whatever it is, where you are in the world.
Afternoon.
Right? Afternoon.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye, Tomika. Okay. Right. Ladies, yeah. Oh, thank you. I can read in the comments. I'll catch up on the comments later. You know I do. And Tomika will as well. But thank you so much for being here, being present in this session. This was the final episode of Visible Women on LinkedIn, season 4, not forever. Season 5 will be back in November. Season 5, and I'm going to have another great lineup of fantastic, awesome women. If you want to register for the updates, go to mildredtalabi.com/visible women and register for updates so that you're the first person to know when I've got the details for season 5 coming up. So do go ahead and do that. And if you haven't already done it, react to show that you were watching. If you're watching a replay as well, react, do a like, do a love, do whatever you want to do, but just give me some kind of indication that you tuned in tonight, But listen, at the beginning, I see Sonia. I didn't see you at the beginning. Hi, Sonia, and Gula, and a few people I haven't greeted, Chris, etc. Good to see you all. Listen, 2 minutes of your time, 2 minutes before we wrap up, because this whole season has been all about being visible. We're talking about being visible. We're talking about becoming a visible woman, and I really want you to start being visible on LinkedIn if you are not already, because honestly, the opportunities that are available for you when you start being visible on LinkedIn are endless. There is a lot. I'm talking speaking engagements. I'm talking podcast interviews, LinkedIn lives, attracting your ideal clients, building your business, growing your brand, and not even to mention the internal stuff that happens when you start showing up and really sharing who you are with the world, the world as we know it on LinkedIn, right? This small world. So to help with this process, I have got a really, really, really special opportunity for you. So I'm going to ask you this question. How would you like to have me help you on your journey to be invisible? It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. If I was you, I'd be like, oh my God, Mildred, yes, please, right? Not because I'm arrogant at all, but listen, how would you like to have me help you on your journey to be visible? Because I am doing something that I haven't done before, and it's starting in October. I am launching 8 Weeks to Visible as a group coaching program. Now, this is, if you don't know about 8 Weeks to Visible, this is an online program that I have, which is all about how to use LinkedIn over the process of 8 weeks to really start being visible on a platform. It covers your profile. It covers the content, having a strategy. It covers audience, finding your target audience. It covers engagement, everything that you need to know. This is a program that I used to do one-to-one with my clients, and then I created an online version. But now, for the first time ever, I'm doing a group version of this, which gives you direct access to me every single week for 8 whole weeks on your journey to be invisible. Now, doesn't that sound great? This is a no-brainer. Now, because this is a pilot program, this is going to be limited to 10 women only. It's going to be 10 women starting on the 11th of October, and it's going for 8 weeks only. If you want to be one of those 10 women, I want you to drop a message in the comments. I want you to say, yes, please, and I will get some info to you. Or you can go straight ahead and go to my DM or send me a message. If we're not connected, send me an email. I've got a premium account, So listen, being visible on LinkedIn will help to grow your business. It will help to build your personal brand. It will help to increase your thought leadership. It will attract opportunities for you that you haven't even thought of. And I'm going to be your personal coach as part of this group program that will help you make it happen. So if you want to do that, drop a yes in the comments and we are absolutely going to make that happen. Okay, so drop it in the comments or send me a message directly. I'm going to be sharing more info about this over the next few weeks, but I wanted you to be the first to know about it, especially as you've been faithfully watching the show, right? For those of you who've come back week after week after week, or even if this is your first or second time, that's okay too. I want you to be part of this program. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity to work with me at a super, it's a super low rate. Honestly, it's disgracefully low, but I need you to message me, and I'm only taking 10 women on this journey with me. So if that's you, reach out to me. And I forgot to put it on here. There it is, special announcement. Reach out to me, drop it in the comments, send me a message, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, but for now, I'm going to sign off, and this has been an awesome series. Well, of course I'll say so, but I love my guests and I loved having these conversations with them, and I would absolutely love to help you on your journey to be invisible. So send me that message, and then make sure you get signed up on our mailing list so that you can be the first to know when we come back with season 5 of Visible Women on LinkedIn in November with these awesome women. But I'm going to love you and leave you tonight. And I thank you so much for being with me for the last 5 weeks. I thank you to all my awesome guests that I've had on this, all the great conversations that we've had. And it has been really inspiring and eye-opening, even for me as well, on this side of the fence. So thank you to everybody. I'm wishing you a good night, a good morning, a good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And I look forward to helping you start being visible on LinkedIn. That's it for now. I'm going to roll out with it's my intro, but I'm also going to use it as an outro because I like it, right? And then I'm going to see you over on LinkedIn later. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye-bye now.